Okay, so finally we get back to some of the things that I really, really love and enjoy doing. And one of those is to recycle my artwork. And, you know, if you followed me for very long, you know that I'm huge on doing this. And this was a painting that I did of Madonna. It was on basically scrapbook paper or watercolor paper, I can't remember. And it was done with acrylic paints. So the first step is to find a focal image. Now, if you don't have a painting that you are willing to chop up, you can print out a copy of one of your paintings, or you actually can just do this with an art journal or a magazine page. So like an image out of a book that you like, you just rip it out and um, proceed to pick the colors out of it. So that's kind of what I was just showing you there, was I just kind of went through and I picked out a variety of different paint colors that I felt would be a good match or a good fit for the colors that were in the painting. So you'd want to go ahead and do the same thing. And then as well, you want to have a shape stencil that you can use to cut your magazine image or your painting or your print, whatever it is that you're using. The diamond pattern that I use, I literally just took a piece of scrapbook paper, I think it was a heavier cardstock paper, and I used a ruler and I drew out a diamond pattern and then I just cut it out. It's that simple. And that's kind of where I started, and I can't remember now, but odds are that I had that stencil and I laid it down on top of this painting or another painting, and immediately I thought, hey, that would look so cool. So something to keep in mind is that is definitely the way a lot of things happen for me, in the things that I end up creating in my art journals. So I took a few of my favorite stencils, laid them down, sprayed ink through them, and now I'm just coming back in with a fat tipped marker, and I'm just tracing around a few of the things. You don't have to trace everything. Not tracing everything actually I think is more visually appealing than sitting and tracing every single bit of it. And you can see that I use the markers just as if they were paint and on a tiny brush, so I paint with them and fill things in and doodle, and it's just about, play and the freedom that you can find with that. And as well, you'll notice that although I do have a large variety of colors, a lot of colors on here, I don't think it is distracting in any way. So I think this is another good example of being able to use a multitude of colors, or all the crayons, as some people like to say, without it becoming, overwhelming and taking over the presence, of the entire page. So in other words, you can still use a variety of colors, just, keep them all kind of the same values, and choose, when you do that, make sure that you're choosing, like in this case I used a black to kind of pop my visual, my focal image. And then of course, my focal image has all those same colors in it, so it kind of flows nicely together. Other than that, just getting the placement right, this was a super easy page to do. I had just a ton of fun just kind of playing around with my art supplies, basically, to be honest with you, which I think, is something that is very underrated nowadays. Just play, just have fun. That's what it's all about. And, it's sad to see so many people, do these haul videos with all these supplies, and yet I never see them use them. I never see them produce videos where they show you what they've made with them. And I think that is a part of our problem at this, stage, is that we don't make near as much art as we can and as we should. And we spend too much time collecting things to make art with and not using them. So this is a wonderful page to get you inspired to just make art and use your supplies and be completely comfortable, I guess I would say, with using them up, with not, it's kind of the reverse of collecting, or the reverse of a haul video. Especially because I'm even, repurposing a painting that I painted. So art should be a participatory thing. It should not be a collector type of thing. At least, not for those of us who want to call ourselves artists. So I think there are two different schools of people in the art journaling or visual journaling world. Half of them are artists who create, and the other half are people who want to be artists but don't actually want to be artists. In other words, they're the same type of people who collect a lot of stationery, but they never write any letters. Same exact thing. Or the people who take a lot of photos, but never scrap up them, even though they have all the supplies, available, or, that would be necessary. So there's my little bit of wisdom or advice to share with you is get your supplies and use them. It's perfectly okay to buy more and to buy plenty if you use it all the time. Where it becomes, I think it poses a problem in your life, is when you buy them and they just sit on the shelf or sit in the package, or you just admire them, or you tell people, the ones that you have, but you don't actually actively create with them. So, and that to me, it's sad to me, because I think there's potential within everyone, with absolutely potential within everyone to be an artist and to create wonderful things. They may not be the things you think that you're going to create. They may not be the perfect things that, you see someone else making, but they're your art and it's your potential. And, not, I understand people who don't because they don't have the supplies, but people who do have the supplies, I encourage heavily that you get out there and you make stuff with them. And even if the things that you make in the beginning aren't, to your taste, or they're, you have a vision in your mind and what you create doesn't match that vision, you have to, realize or come to the understanding that until you make a whole lot of things that don't match your vision, you're not likely to ever get to the point where you are creating the things that match your vision. So you can't give up. It's a hurdle that's there on purpose. And you've got to actually create before you're going to get over that, or, surpass that hurdle. So this is what I was telling you about. So you can clearly see I didn't make this template for this painting or for this page or this project. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that I laid this stencil down over top of this painting, probably on accident, and that's where I got this idea. But again, it's the most complicated part of this really was remembering the right order and the proper spacing to lay these out. And in fact, I think I played with that a little bit. But otherwise, this page is pretty much self-explanatory. Again, you don't have to have the same supplies as me, so you don't have to do exactly the same things I did. If there's something that I did, like the ripping the paper, that you didn't like, don't do it. It's perfectly okay. But definitely get out there and make something. And I'll throw in, just like a little bit of advice here. There's a couple of places where it's really dark black. Just use a white pen. It's, pretty simple. But I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of the video, and please share your work. I would love to see what you create. And it's good for your teacher to know that you are creating. We do have a Facebook group where there's plenty of interaction going on, lots of posts, lots of people sharing and talking about their art and their progress. So if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, you can find the link to it up in the navigation of the website here. And if you don't want to share, or you're not, you don't like Facebook, which I totally understand that, then you can just leave a link in the comments to any type of photo sharing website where you can just share a link to it. Even if it's just a link to your Instagram post, if your Instagram is not marked completely private. And then, of course, you can always send me an email to, and include a photo of your work if you don't want to share with everyone. But it's really great for your teachers. Uh, how do I say it? It's really good for my heart, I guess, to know that my students are not just watching, but are actually inspired to create. So, in other words, I'd love to see your photos. Thanks so much, and I'll see you with the next day. Bye.